What's going on, guys? Killer 6 finally! I've got the MOZE build guide for you guys. I know it's taking a little bit of time, but I wanted to make sure that this build was as good as it possibly could be, and that's why I'm climbing this building. No, I had to find a lot of gear to make MOZE viable, in my opinion. Some of this gear I had to rely on others to send to me. So with that in mind, you guys playing on console, I'm sorry. I've tried to make this as inclusive as possible. There are going to be a couple of pieces of gear like the Kibsworth that is going to be a pain in your ass to get. That said, you can easily replace the Kibsworth with either the ion laser or a Wester gun or a tsunami or a destructo spinner. There's a few different options that you can use. Basically, you just want a high fire rate SMG that does splash damage. The Kibsworth is the absolute best option, but you do need to kill Wotan to get this thing. Not super ideal, because on MOZE, good luck getting to Wotan and killing him without having this build, or without having some other build that allows you maximum survivability. All right. So, I mean, obviously, you know, trade with your friends or buddies or whatever. I don't know. But if you're on PC, you can absolutely download this save via the link in the description down below, so that way you can try it out for yourself. This is the gear I'm going to show you real quick. I got a Kibsworth with cryo and fire, a NX Zamachat ion cannon. This thing is extremely powerful, corrosive damage, great for getting out of fight for your life. Then we have a Kibsworth that is cryo and shock. I leave this one on shock. I leave this one on cryo usually. Every once in a while I'll switch it over to incendiary, so I can do some extra damage versus fleshy targets. And then I almost always keep an ion laser on. Depending on which kind of area I'm going through, will determine which one I take with me. I've got a few here with the build, so that way you can tinker around with it. All right, as for the shield, I am using a Big Boom Blaster. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be like, what? A Big Boom Blaster? Didn't we hate that shield back in Borderlands 2? You probably did. You probably did, but it's actually really helpful for MOZE in this particular game, because number one, when I exit Iron Bear, I get 75% increased shields and health for 25 seconds, which is very nice. It's going to increase our capacity greatly. It's going to give us extra health, and a lot of times whenever we go into Iron Bear, it's because we wanted to get out of a situation where we're in danger, so that comes in handy. Also, this thing has a 60% chance to drop a booster that will restore 60% of your shields. It'll also give you a free grenade, and it'll give you heavy ammo. This one that I've got also has double reflect. Normally a reflect chance is 15%. This one has a double reflect on it, which gives me 30% chance to reflect projectiles while shielded. I found this one myself. It is legit, so that's that. All right, then we've got a blood-sucking charitable Blastmaster comm. This one gives me even more grenades, it gives me more splash damage, and it gives me increased weapon handling. The weapon handling part's not that ideal in terms of the perks. I would have much rather had something else like grenade damage or something like that. But I do have you guys some other options here. Again, this one right here is really good for the splash damage, weapon damage, and grenade damage, but you sacrifice the +3 to Vampire in favor of pull the holy pin +3. So pros and cons, you know, feel free to switch things up. I'm also including with this build a bloodletter and a deathless artifact. If you guys want to do that kind of build, you can with this, but that's not how I like to roll. In terms of my artifact, I'm running a last stand auto idle. This one gives me plus 30% grenade damage and increases my mag size, and it gives me a nice 33% area of effect damage. This the reason that this artifact is so good is that when your health dips below 50%, you get temporary invulnerability. I think it's about 5 seconds of invulnerability. Yeah, 5 seconds of invulnerability, and then it's going to be 40 seconds until you can do that again, though. So keep that in mind. However, this thing does restore 18% of your max health after killing an enemy. So if you're mobbing, this is like really helpful. It's going to give you health really well. Speaking of giving you health, the cloning maddening tracker, I got this from my buddy Lazy Data. This thing on grenade thrown, you get weapon, grenade, and action skill damage increased by 25% for 6 seconds. This thing doesn't look like much up there in the damage and the radius, but the fact that it homes, it divides, it splits into MIRVs, and it bounces in place detonating 3 times means that you're going to be constantly regenerating your health via this skill right here, Vampire. So whenever MOZE damages an enemy with a thrown grenade, or Iron Bear deals an area damage, for every enemy hit, she restores a portion of missing health, and the Iron Bear receives half that bonus. Also with Pull the Holy Pin, your grenades have a chance to score a critical hit, which means it's going to do even more damage. And then with Means of Destruction, anytime you're dealing any kind of splash damage, you are regenerating ammo, and you are also regenerating grenades. So just quickly going through the trees, I'm not going to explain too much of the tree. A lot of the stuff is self-explanatory. I will dive into a couple specific things and why I use them, but by and large, I just present it as it is, and you can pause and take a look at it if you want. I was originally against using Russian Offensive because I just didn't like the way it felt when I was running, but that said, now that I see it in use with say like the ion laser, for example, and being able to run while shooting a laser, it's pretty great because I can constantly move, so it's very nice. So let's dive into some gameplay, show you guys what this build can do. Iron Bear can actually kill things. I know that's crazy. I know nobody ever thought that would happen. That is a Violent Nog, which is essentially like a badass. He had a triple health bar, and now he's dead. I think there was somebody back here, right? Nope, he's over here. And you can jump and kind of speed burst yourself forward a little bit with Iron Bear as well. And if you eject early, then you're going to have your Iron Bear back sooner. As you can see, the cooldown was already partially up because of that. The ion laser, I covered this in a video recently, and I fear that not too many people noticed this, but check this out. When you let go of the trigger, you get that huge burst of damage. And even though these guys aren't necessarily weak to corrosive, see what I'm saying? You guys gonna want to check out that gun. This is Mayhem 4, by the way. This is a shielded enemy. Cryo is weak versus shields normally, but even though that's the case, this is still melting through it. It's the splash damage that's doing all the work here for me, and the grenades. As you can see, I can constantly throw grenades pretty much. You definitely want to throw one every 6 seconds at the very least. Again, every 6 seconds, you can get weapon, grenade, and action skill damage increased by 25%. This also heals you. So don't be afraid to spam these grenades, dude. If you need to spam the grenades to keep yourself alive, by all means do it. Now, you want to generally save your Iron Bear to get you out of some bad situations, because you're going to do plenty of damage without Iron Bear. You don't need Iron Bear, your action skill, you don't need that to do damage. You need it for saving your life, basically. That is what Iron Bear's main purpose is right now in the current meta of things with MOZE. That's just kind of how it is. And the reason, again, that we use this Big Boom Blaster is, as you see, anytime somebody hits me and that it triggers the boosters, I just walk into them, and voila, I've got grenades, I've got heavy ammo, and I restore some shield. The Kib's Worth, check this out. See this circle on the ground? I can stand into that and it heals me. That is what the Kib's Worth does. It generates a healing circle that you can hang out in so that you constantly regen health inside that circle. So that's why this is like the best option for the high fire rate splash damage weapon that MOZE wants to use. This gun's just exceptional on MOZE. There's no two ways about it. Normally it doesn't even matter what kind of enemy you are fighting. If you are fighting a cryo dude and you're still shooting cryo, the splash damage you're going to do with MOZE is going to be enough to kill them. You don't have to worry about properly matching your elements a lot of the time. That said, this build comes with, you know, cryo, incendiary option on this gun, and then on this one you got shock and you got cryo. And then did I include another Kib's Worth? I need to find more Kib's Worth. I've just had a hard time finding them. And this one's I think actually this is the exact same. No, okay, that's right. I got this one, finally got this one just today. This one's what you want to look for on MOZE in terms of the anointed gear are like this one, for example. It says on action skill end, the next 2 magazines will have 50% additional bonus cryo damage. So that means you pop your Iron Bear, you jump right back out, And because MOZE never needs to reload, well, almost never needs to reload, as long as you're shooting somebody and dealing splash damage, you should have ammo. You should not ever go through those 2 magazines. You should always have those 2 magazines intact. So let me show you, for example. So we're gonna jump in, we're gonna jump back out, and then our next 2 magazines are going to have bonus cryo damage on them. See the cryo damage proccing on him? So it's just an added bonus, honestly. So that makes that really good option for MOZE. And like I said, in order for you to end up going through those next 2 magazines, you're gonna have to do something really wrong, because as you see from my ammo count, I'm never running out of ammo. So this is pretty much the ultimate weapon for MOZE, at least at the current state of things. I tell you what, while we're over here, let me show you guys one of the guns that you guys can get in order to do this build. If you're on console and you're like, the Kibsworth is just not going to happen K6, I need some other option. Well, if you do the side quest for Ava, the one where you have to fight Private Beans at the end of it, tell you what, I'll caption and put it on the screen. But if you do that side quest, then you can come over here and farm Private Beans. He's really quick and easy to kill, and he has a very high drop rate for this gun right here, the Stark Wester gun. Now, as you can see, the damage is considerably lower. It's 641 for this one versus my 566 times 2. This one not quite as high on the damage, but it still does the really good splash damage, which will keep you in your grenades. And it's a real easy fast farm, so you guys could have something that would work. This build will be able to solo Wotan on Mayhem 1, 2, 3, 4, but you have to play real slow and careful on Mayhem 4. On Mayhem 4 it's doable, it's just going to be hard. If you can find the ×3 variant of the Kibsworth, do it. And again, on MOZE, you want to look for the ones, the anointments that say on action skill in the next 2 mags will have 50% additional bonus cryo damage. Watch my video on the ion laser, this gun right here. This gun can be used in place of the Kibsworth if you want. Real quick tutorial on that. As you hold down the laser, you let go, and you spam out all those projectiles. You murder fools like crazy. That's the short and sweet version of the guide, but you can check out my video to that at the end of this one. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope to have you guys my flak build next week, man. That one's been tough too. Flak and MOZE, they're in a spot right now where they both need some survivability bonuses, and MOZE is probably a little bit safer because you can constantly spam grenades to get your healing, whereas flak, you're gonna have to throw rack to get your healing, and you have to almost always use the spider ant pet, so you're very limited with what you can do. MOZE has a few different builds that will keep her alive. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, then please take a second to hit that like button, hit subscribe for more. If you want to, come watch me live anytime, Monday through Friday. I stream during the daytime, so you can check that out. And of course, we would get a legendary live while recording this. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will see y'all next time. Y'all take care.